Welcome. My name is Cole. I go by Trans Spirit. My topic of video today is growing up transgender. Growing up transgender, I had no idea what transgender actually was. I don't recall ever seeing it in the T section of the encyclopedia, although I'm guilty of never actually looking. Anyway, I digress. There wasn't that much information out there about transgender people. Honestly, this is kind of nerve-wracking to talk about. I never realized how nervous I would get talking about this. Well, there's a lot to say about growing up transgender. Let's see. It was pretty terrible. I'd have to say that I'm happier now in my adulthood, now that I have the knowledge as to what's going on with me, that more of a clarity to it. Like I was saying, growing up, I asked what gay meant. I asked the people at the church and the school I went, and the overall general consensus is that it wasn't a very good thing to be. It wasn't the way to be, and that's about as deep as I'll get. 34 years old now, born in 1984. I've known that I liked girls, and well, since preschool. I'm getting all blushy face. Am I still insecure about admitting it? There was a time and place where I did not have the courage to admit to myself in a quiet room that I'm gay. And I use the finger quotes for gay because that's like a big umbrella of, at the time I didn't identify as a lesbian because I didn't identify as a woman, and I didn't know what that really meant, and I just thought I was a weirdo out in my own world, and it never existed with anyone before, and that, to me, it seems selfish to think that. But please remember the time period we're coming from. There was no internet, so I had no clue. I knew that I wanted to wear boys' clothes. I knew at 4.5, this is my first memory of thinking that a girl was, I guess you would say, cute. Growing up telling people that they're wrong for being a certain thing can really destroy a soul, especially when they're young and they believe it. I just feel it's my obligation as a human being to share this because I am a writer, and I've always loved video. I used to play with the video camera when I was a kid and make little skits. Well, here I am talking about it, and so like I was saying, I didn't know what transgender meant when I was 4.5 when I realized that I like girls. But see, it went deeper for me than just I like girls. I was very upset that I wasn't a boy in preschool. It wasn't a phase. Here we are. I was 4, right? 4.5? 34. 30 years later, still the same feelings. Not a phase. It was really, really rough when I first realized that I should be a boy. It was extremely confusing. I was very bitter, unfortunately, and I was really upset, and I was jealous. I didn't understand why there was a boy in the dance class that my mom had me in preschool, and how there was only one boy. It was very difficult for me to understand why I wasn't with him. It was like my soul knew. I felt like I needed to go stand with him. I felt so weird. Lost. Weird. Awkward. It was rough. And then you're going through on top of it not being able to tell anybody. Again, another reason why I'm prompted to write about this. Working on a book right now about it and making these videos is because I want people to know that it is okay and they can talk about it. There are people out in this world that they can relate to and talk to about it. I think it's very important because that was a big part of the stress of being in the closet. And I don't care if you're transgender. You could be gay, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, heterosexual, whoever, whatever you are. You can make up your own thing. You just shouldn't have to hide who you are, is what I'm saying. Ever. No, you don't ever hide who you are. I get that there's fear of what other people will think. I'm a grown person and I still have fear. I've lost friends over being myself. And it can suck. But I'm telling you, it's worth it in the end to just be yourself. That's like your main job. Just be yourself. When you are yourself in this life, everything will follow. Your authenticity is reflecting in your life. More authentic people are coming into your life. That's what you're giving off, it's what you're getting back. I understand that there are people suffering now. Just know that you can be yourself. Even if you're not in the correct body of your choice and what you feel, it's almost like, for me personally, getting through gender dysphoria, it was almost like rising above, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, rising above my own body. Living through my soul, if that makes any sense. Feeling more from the inside to the out. And it's not easy. I still struggle with gender dysphoria issues every day. I do not feel like I'm technically in the right body, but at this point, this is a gift. This is a blessing. I don't want to wish my body away. You know, not everybody experiences what this feels like. The older I got, the more confusing it got. You know, it's like I had crushes on girls in kindergarten, first, second, third grade. But we're all so young. Sex and all those things, they don't matter. Then you start pushing 5th and 6th grade. People are 11 and 12. And a lot of people start puberty around that time. You start having feelings and emotions and experiencing that alongside not only being, gay, but then like feeling like you should be a boy. Like you feel, or a girl, like, vice versa, whichever end of the spectrum you're looking at. When you feel you should be the opposite gender of what you are, and you're experiencing puberty, and everyone around you is experiencing puberty and feels like they're in the correct gender. I feel the need to speak out for the people that identify as non-binary and gender fluid. I've had a lot of friends too tell me that it's as if I'm not a boy or a girl. I'm just like this genderless person, and I'm Cole. I am who I am, and I love that in a way because I've never fit into society's little boxes, and that's not even just gender. That's everything. I'm an artist. I'm a weirdo. I'm a goofball. Whatever. And when I realized that I was transgender, and I realized what transgender was, my mind was blown. I cried. I just bawled my eyes out as I started to read it. It was incredibly comforting and incredibly terrifying all at the same time. But it was like I had a lifelong question answered at 20 years old. I finally understood myself a lot better, and I knew that the way I felt, that I wasn't alone, that it was an actual thing that goes on, that it's, it's comforting to know that you're not alone in it. But growing up transgender taught me a lot, and it made me a strong person. But I wouldn't want anyone to go through it alone. Nobody needs to go through life alone, period, no matter who you are. But on the subject and topic of this, I hope there's a big support system for you. And if there's not, reach out this way. There's other folks on the internet too that transgender people, allies, support out there. But you are not in this alone. And if you feel that same way, if you're questioning it and you're not sure if you're transgender, that's okay too, because we don't have to put a label on it, right? People want to tell me I'm not transgender because I haven't had a sex change. You know what? I could go have a sex change by the end of this year, and then by next year, when I've been on T a while, then everyone will be like, well, now you're a guy because you did this, because you did that. That's not how I live my life. I don't live my life in little, do this, do that, do this way, do that way. You live your life how you want to live your life, and they'll live their life how they live their life. Be you. Be real. Much love, everyone.